Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to begin the third lesson, measure for measure. What do you understand by measure for measure? It is a phrase, and according to the lesson, the meaning of measure for measure is tit for tat. Okay. Now let's go to the word meaning. Patronage, support given by a patron, fond of, liking somebody or something very much, brilliant, extremely good or highly intelligent, portrait, picture or sketch, majestic, royal or very grand, overwhelmed means bury or have a strong emotional effect on. Spur means an event that encourages action. Impulse, sudden wish to do something. Reward, an award or a prize in return for services. Generous means readiness to give or kindness. Pleasant means Krishna Dev Rai was known for his patronage of poets and scholars. He was equally fond of fine art. Once he came to know about a brilliant artist named Raja Varma. He invited Raja Varma to the court and asked him to draw his picture. So there was a king whose name was Krishna Dev Rai. So Krishna Dev Rai was very famous for his patronage of poets and scholars. And patronage means to support, or you can say that support given by a patron. Okay. He was equally fond of fine art. So Krishna Dev Rai was liking fine art very much. Once he came to know about a brilliant artist named Raja Varman. So once what happened with him? Krishna Deva Rai came to know about a brilliant artist. What was his name? His name was Raja Varma. Okay. So he invited Raja Varma to the court and asked him to draw his picture. So then Krishna Deva Rai invited Raja Varman to his court, and he asked the Raja Varman to draw his picture. Who asked that to draw the picture? Krishna Deva Rai asked Raja Varman to draw his picture. Means whose picture? King's picture. Okay. The king was very pleased with the artist when his portrait was ready. Now see here, Krishna Deva Rai was very happy with that artist. After seeing his picture, when the picture is ready, he looked that. So he was very happy with the artist. In the portrait, the majestic and handsome king seemed to have come alive within the frame. Okay, now see these lines. In the portrait means what? In that picture, the majestic means very grand. Okay, so the majestic and handsome king seemed to have come alive within the frame. So that in that picture the king was looking very grand and handsome, and it was looking that it is alive in that frame. Okay, do you think that the king rewarded him? Now there is a questions. Do you think that the king rewarded him? Okay. Apart from this portrait, Raja Varma drew images of famous characters from Puran, of men and women and so on. Okay, so at first Raja Varma drew the picture of king. Apart from that picture, Raja Varma drew the famous characters of what? Of Puran. And whose picture he has drawn? He has drawn the picture of men and women. Okay? He become well known for his skill. So who was well known? Here Raja Varma become famous for his skill. Okay. He became close and dear to the king. So he means what? He means who? He means Raja Varma. So Raja Varma became very close to the king and dear to the king. Okay, now overwhelmed by joy, Krishna Dev Rai called the artist and asked him what he wanted. So Krishna Dev Rai was very happy. So the Krishna Dev Rai called that artist. That artist means Raja Varma. So Krishna Dev Rai called Raja Varma, and the king asked him, what do you want? Okay, so there is a question. But when Raja Varma did not reply, but an artist did not say anything to the king. The king, on the spur of a generous impulse, rewarded him with chief minister. Then what happened? Once in his court, he called him, and after calling with his generous, he gave him a reward. And as a reward, the king gave him the chief ministership of his kingdom. Okay, the next part of the lesson we will study next day. Okay, students.